This is Ryan with MMA Viking here with Gunnar Nelson, 2 days away from your debut in the UFC. Tell us we're a couple days out, tell us your mindset now that kind of the big day is approaching for you to be on the biggest stage in the world.
Well, I don't focus too much on the fight itself. I try to just, stay calm, do the things that I'm used to doing. Hanging out with my family and my friends. Today we went to the Nottingham Castle and just spent the day there. So I tried to just clear my mind more than anything, really. Of course, you have to stay focused and keep everything together, but just kind of keep it slow.
Do you try to keep it slow, all the way until you step in the cage, or is this kind of more 2 days out, this is the mindset you want to be at?
Well, overall, I try to keep it slow. And not too slow though, but just calm. And I find for me that the less the change of environments or the less I feel changes, the better I feel. So even though I'm fighting soon, I don't change how I feel or what I do or what I think too much, Just kind of, if I have to change it a little bit, I'll try to change it and then it'll stay that way, sort of for the rest of my life, Of course, there's ups and downs, but I don't like the idea of training very hard just for a fight and then partying or taking time off, or I just train hard all the time. I might have to train a little bit less than the guys that train very hard for just the fight, but I'll keep a pretty even pace because I want to be doing this for a long time,
Yeah, and is that part of the reason I think many fighters, they're sending out tweets and asking Dana when they can be in the UFC. It seems like you kind of took your time getting here or didn't even really care if you did get to this place. Is that really what was happening?
Well, I wouldn't say didn't care. That I definitely care. I'm definitely very happy that I am here, and I appreciate the UFC and everything they do. But I'm more into MMA than I am into the UFC. So MMA and the sport and the art of mixed martial arts that's what I love. So I'm not really in a rush to get to certain stages inside this trip of mine, inside the mixed martial arts, but I'm glad that I'm here now, It's very exciting.
It's interesting you talk about mixed martial arts much as a martial arts. Are there other things outside of mixed martial arts that you're interested in and passionate about?
Well, not too many sports, or I just like hanging out with my friends and family and just genuine things, things that everybody likes, I guess. I like other martial arts. It doesn't have to be MMA as it is, but although I believe MMA is everything, you could put everything into MMA, whether it's from karate or taekwondo, judo, whatever it is, everything is MMA today.
You're one of the fighters that's kind of hard to peg down. I think lots of times many individuals don't know if you're in New York or you're back in Iceland at I don't know if you call that your home gym, Mjolnir. Where have you spent most of your time preparing for this bout or training?
I spent most of my time back home, but I was for 2 weeks training at Hansel Gracie's Academy and Mushin MMA. The rest of the time I was back home.
And back home from, we come from Sweden and we see some of the publicity that you get in Iceland. Front page of the major newspapers and your fights for cage contenders are shown live there. Do you get noticed? Are you like, if you walk downtown, do people come up to you and talk to you, or is it something where MMA is still a bit more niche than we think? It seems like half of Iceland or more is familiar with you.
Yeah, if I'm walking downtown, there's many people. Odds are that at least like one or two will, get a picture or say a couple of words, just like what you're doing or something like this. But it's mostly because the country is so small. Iceland is 300,000 people total, and the capital Reykjavik, where I live in, that's around 150,000. So it's easy to get well known and noticed. And so people are starting to recognize me more.
Talking to your dad, that's also your manager. I mean, you had in the last 3 weeks you've had 3 opponents settling on DeMarcus Johnson. How have you changed things up knowing that DeMarcus is your opponent, or do you just train and go in there and do your thing?
Yeah, I don't make very accurate game plans for fights. It'd be more like I was describing before about the constant training. I constantly work on my weaknesses and the things that I believe in the sport. So I created my own mixed martial arts, my own style, And I'm always, more than working on specific things for a specific fight, I'm working on the big picture, So if I see big holes in the big picture in my game, or big things that I can put in that I really like, I think this will be good help, then I focus more on this rather than Johnson specifically, But I've watched his fights, of course, and I've seen his attacks, and of course I can see ways that I could beat him, and I picture some ways, but I don't create a game plan. I just kind of go with it when I get in there.
You just mentioned you picture ways that maybe the fight could end or potential outcomes. Have those pictures come true in previous bouts?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like as maybe the people who've seen me fight might know, like I like to take people down and gradually work my way into a submission. For me, it's always the same thing, really. When you get somebody down, you gradually climb up until you get a position like mount or back mount, where you've completely cleared the legs and you use your legs to keep the hips below you, and that's for me the ultimate control, and from there you just have to wait for the right moment. It's also a good way to beat somebody because you don't have to take any damage or very little damage, and you don't have to give the guy too many punches, or he doesn't have to take damage either. It can be very clean. I like that. Of course, sometimes you have to soften him up with punches or elbows, and to make it easier. Because number one, I don't want to take damage myself, so I want to do it the right way. But I like to keep it clean.
Great. Well, thanks for your time today, and good luck to you and your UFC debut.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Gunnar.